What's going on, everyone? Grandpa Gamer here, and today I'll be giving you my tips and tricks video for how to defeat the Moonlord in 1.3 Terraria for console. Now, I want to do this because Xbox One has not quite got the 1.3 update yet, but when they do enter, I want them to have a good idea of what they're going up against, what you'll need to gather before you do it, and depending on what you have equipped will depend on how easy this encounter goes. So let's hop right into it, starting with our accessories and potions. I want to start off by disclosing that weapons are completely up to personal preference and whatever type of character you are running, a mage or a ranger or whatever you decide to run. I'd also highly recommend taking greater healing potions along, as well as some mana potions, just in case, stuff decides to go a little bit wrong, you need some health or you need some mana to get those last few hits in. Now for the your summonables, I would highly recommend either the Stardust Dragon or the Xeno Staff. You could also have like a Frost Hydra or that Rainbow Staff that I have from the Moonlord, but all that. For armor, I would highly recommend the Solar Flare armor just because it gives you the max defense and it also gives you an overshield that'll deflect damage, and that's insanely helpful for any encounter. And if you're a melee character like I am, then it's going to be insanely helpful. I would also recommend having any type of wings just for that increased mobility, just because you're going to be flying and jumping around a lot. Any type of the shields that grant immunity to knockback, because you don't want to be knocked on your ass while you're trying to fight this guy. And then the last one that I would highly recommend, is the what's it called? The Worm Scarf. The Worm Scarf deflects 17% damage and is acquired from the Expert Mode goodie bag from the Eater of Worlds in the Corrupt. I would highly recommend doing this before you even think of doing the Moonlord, because this will deflect so much damage. Now the other accessories are 150% optional. Like, I go with the Yo-Yo bag and the Celestial Stone just because I like the minor increase to all stats, and I do use the Terrarian in this battle. Now, one thing you are going to notice is that when I go to the center here, there'll be a bewitching table and a magic mirror. These are the only two things I use for the encounter, just because I thought I'd show this with bare minimum. I don't use any potions, anything like that, except for these two things, so I can get an extra summoner and just minor increases to all stats. Now, I do want to bring this up that I will be using this at least maybe once or twice in the encounter, and I basically have my Dryad and my Nurse up in a box just floating above my arena. And the reason for that is because if you're like 10 health and you need to quickly heal up but you don't have any potions, or your cooldown on potions still going, you can come up, heal with her, and then just continue the battle. Now, I know this is considered cheese, but I would highly recommend doing this for normal mode, just so you can get the Moonlord weapons to go and fight the Moonlord in expert mode. And then another thing I want to bring up is the Dryad. The Dryad will bring up a little circle of leaves, I guess you can call it, which will grant debuffs for you and the other NPCs. She does a really good job at protecting the NPCs and then also giving you damage just when you go to heal, to make sure that the Nurse doesn't die and you don't take too much damage after you just healed. I'd also recommend having campfires and heart statues, as well as a little thing of honey in the middle, just to make sure that they can heal up. Now, another thing is the arena. Now, as you can see, my arena is just wooden platforms with some campfires and an occasional hard statue. You're going to want something big, flat, and something that you can go up and down on. That's why I recommend the platforms. Oh, wait. Yeah, see, like that. That's the debuff from the Dryad. Sorry, I'm getting off topic, but there you go. Now, back to the arena, is you're going to want to have something very large, because if you get hit pretty hard and you need to fall down to dodge it, you're going to want something you can go through, but you also want something large in size so you can run back and forth on. Now that that is all said, I'm going to go into the Moonlord battle, and I'm going to give my tips and tricks while I'm fighting it. I'm going to do a commentary, so let's get right into that. Okay, so now we're all ready for the encounter. I've got everything that I want to have equipped, and now instead of summoning him using, defeating the lunatic cultists and then the pillars and all that stuff, I'm just going to use a celestial stone just for the sake of making this easier, and I don't have to rush back to my house. So we're going to use this to summon the Moonlord, and there's a couple of things I would hope you would do before the Moonlord encounter. Is you make sure that when you go up, if you do have these NPCs, make sure that they're there, because sometimes they will despawn if there's another house available. And another thing that I would highly recommend, because I believe it's currently glitched, is talk to one or even both of the NPCs just to make sure that they actually pull up their screen, because I have had a moment where I need some health. I go to talk to the nurse and her screen won't appear. So make sure they work and make sure that they're there. And now we can actually get into the encounter. Okay, so now we're all ready. We've got everything up. Now we're going to pull out my summoners after activating them with the Bewitched table. We're going to use my little magic mirror right there, and we're going to summon him in. Now, obviously it takes a minute for him to, get his ass over here, because it takes a while to get here from the moon apparently. So I would recommend, while waiting, having your weapon that you want to use for 90% of it at the ready, that your arena isn't broken or anything, and that everything is ready to go. And another thing that I would highly recommend that you have during this encounter is the little cute Fishron spawn mount from the expert mode Duke Fishron. Now the reason I recommend this is because every single time he hits water, you'll get a speed damage, but the most important part is every time you drop below half health, he will do the same fast speed movement, but he'll also give you a 13 damage increase. That speed will help you get to the nurse faster if you do have them set up. And then the damage also helps just damage, the Moonlord. And note is that every time he spawns in, no matter where you are, he will always spawn right on top of you. So have weapons pointed at either the left or right hand, and then continue on with the encounter. Now, one of the things that I do want to recommend for any weapon, any character at all, is every time you see that laser right there pop up, jump around it, because that deals a lot of damage. But then also, while you're jumping around it, try to do continuous damage to his forehead eye while it's open, because as soon as it closes, you can't damage it until it opens again. And frankly, it's kind of hard to damage that eye if you have two other eyes out of his hands attacking you. So just do equal damage to each eye, and then when you go to his core, make sure that you are, dodging those eyeball attacks, dodging the lasers, and dodging everything, because they do some insane damage. If you're not paying attention to your health, can kill you before you get to the core. Now you can see that the left hand eye has popped out and will do its own separate attacks, and soon this one will do, its own attacks as well. These eyeballs are attacking you while you attack the core, but then top it all off, when you're attacking the core, there's always the third one that you have to pay attention to. As you can see here, I heal up to full health, and I think I took maybe 1 or 2 hits, and then I just kept on the encounter. It's an insanely handy method for using it, but as soon as you get that last eye broken, go for the core and don't stop damaging it. If you take a lot of damage, use a potion, use a nurse, but always try to do continuous damage to the chest, just because you want him dead as fast as possible. See, I take a lot of damage just from that one laser, and then I have to go and heal. Now, this is why I suggested the wings in the beginning, is because you are going to be dodging these attacks and you have to be insanely fast about them. So I would highly recommend something like any of the wings that you make from the solar pillars. I would highly recommend the solar wings, just because I feel like they're a tad bit faster than any of like the nebula or the stardust. So yeah, and if you're using, you know, different weapons, obviously the encounter will take longer, but this is basically all you will need to defeat the Moonlord. He'll drop the weapons and, you know, the portal gun is the guaranteed drop, and that is the end of the encounter. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I was also thinking of doing a pillar guide, like a how-to pillar. So if you guys want that, I'll probably be releasing that within the next couple of days. But I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.